Good evening. Welcome to the Ormond Beach regular City Commission meeting for December 3rd, 2019. It is 7 p.m. and we are in the Commission chambers. I hope you felt welcomed this evening by our Information Technology Director, Ned Huta, and our Human Resources Manager, Heather Kidd. They were our greeters as you came in tonight. I'd like to take a moment just to introduce the folks who are sitting up in front of you. To my right and your left, we have Cassidy Ritz, our recording secretary. Next to her is City Clerk Colby Salento. And then next in line is Commissioner Dwight Selby from Zone 1. Our Deputy Mayor and Zone 2 Commissioner Troy Kent. To my left and your right, Commissioner Susan Persis from Zone 3. Commissioner Rob Littleton from Zone 4, our City Manager, Joyce Shanahan, our Assistant City Manager, Claire Whitley, our City Attorney, Randy Hayes, and for those of you listening online, I'm Mayor Bill Partington. I'd like to start out tonight's meeting with a moment of silence for James M. Patterson, who gave a lifetime of service to the city of Ormond Beach, retired as the Ormond Beach police chief. He was 84 years old, from Pearson, Florida, and he passed on Wednesday, November 20th, 2019. James was born November 12th, 1935, in Oak Hill, Florida, to his loving parents, Emery and Beatrice Patterson. James lived his life to the fullest. He loved to travel, take pictures, football, the Atlanta Braves, and any outdoor activity, especially hunting and fishing. Watching children play or a good joke could always make James laugh, and education was important to him. He was an honest, straightforward type of man and was always willing to help those around him. James lived his life as a civil servant. He faithfully served his country in the U.S. Army as a Green Beret, and after returning home, he worked as a lifeguard and eventually worked his way through the ranks of the Ormond Beach Police Department to the rank of Chief of Police. James worked for the city from 1957 to 1992, and he is survived by his son, David Patterson, daughter, Angie Patterson, his grandchildren, Malcolm, Brenton, Trevor, and Colton Patterson, and also his sister, Anna Larry Lehman. James will be dearly missed by all those that knew and loved him, and so if you could just take a moment of silence and keep his family in your prayers during this time. Thank you very much. And we will now have the invocation, if you please rise, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. The invocation tonight is given by Pastor Pam Stewart from Tomoka United Methodist Church. Pastor.
Holy Creator, we indeed remember not only James, but all who have gone before us in this season of preparation. We pray for your guidance for us as we prepare to seek ways to continue to create the city of Ormond Beach as a place where all feel welcome as part of a larger family that both enjoys good living space that we call our hometown and the warmth of working together to make sure all receive what they need to live together in good quality and peace. Bless those who come to share ideas, make decisions, and lead us to a good quality of living. And bless those who serve away from home at this time of year to protect our country. We pray all this in your wisdom, your peace, and your shalom. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This is the fun time of the evening, and if I can have Akari Davis and his family come up, and Chief, if you don't mind coming up as well. Akari has doctor's orders for why he's wearing his sunglasses, so don't worry about that for 1 second. And it is great to have you and your family here. We wanted to recognize him sooner because he had received this award some time ago, maybe a couple months ago, but his schoolwork and his athletic practices were so important that we worked around his schedule. We're just happy he's here now and able to be with us. So, Akari, I'm going to have the chief hold this proclamation and then present it to you. And I will read it. Let me get you in there. Whereas the Police Athletic League was established to foster and encourage the development of positive relationships between local youth, law enforcement, and community members, the Ormond Beach Police Athletic League, OBPAL, is an academic and athletic achievement organization providing youth participants with opportunities to become successful individuals. And whereas Akari Davis has been an active member of the OB-PAL program for 10 years, Akari demonstrated strong leadership skills in his time with the Youth Leadership Council. He has taken part in various PAL activities, including clothing drives for homeless shelters and school supply giveaways, while sharing his knowledge with others and learning new skills. Akari is a perceptive and sharp individual with a high aptitude for math and science. He's active and outgoing with a great sense of humor, and he has encouraged and guided other youth in making a difference in their community. And whereas in recognition of his commitment and efforts, Akari was selected as the 2019 State PAL Boy of the Year, standing out in a field of 45 other applicants. The award is presented annually to honor a PAL participant who makes outstanding contributions to their community through the PAL program. And whereas in addition to PAL activities, Akari was an honor roll student, outstanding football player, and top-ranked heavyweight wrestler while attending Seabreeze High School. He graduated in May with a 3.2 GPA and is currently attending Kaiser University on scholarship, participating in football and majoring in business administration. Akari also volunteered with the Ormond Beach Pride football team as a coach and at the South Ormond Neighborhood Center as a summer camp counselor before leaving for college. And whereas Akari will be formally recognized as State PAL Boy of the Year in Orlando on December 15th, he is an engaging young man, a curious student, and a standout leader. The City Commission is proud to recognize exceptional accomplishments by the youth of the Ormond Beach PAL program. And now, therefore, I, Bill Partington, Mayor of the City of Ormond Beach, on behalf of the entire Commission, do hereby proclaim December 3rd as a day to recognize Akari Davis as the State PAL Boy of the Year in the City of Ormond Beach, and urge all residents to join with me on this day in paying tribute to Akari as an outstanding representative of the youth in our community. Congratulations.
Hi, I'm Belinda Leggett, and I was Akari's advisor for PAL for several years, many years, and I've known Akari since he was very little. But I just wanted to say that I'm very proud of Akari. I've since retired as of last year, and but I did bring Akari through a lot of projects, a lot of trips that we took, and I do have to say thank you to his mom for bringing up two amazing young men, and they are just awesome. But Akari, and I was at the YDC conference when Miss Rhonda told Akari, said, tell your brother that his speech was a little bit, was good, but yours was just a little bit better. So they both applied for it, and they ran a close call for being Pal Boy of the Year. And I just want to say congratulations and thank you, Akari.
And next, I'll ask Commissioner Persis to join me and ask Matthew Monroe and his mom to come up, or any other family you want. Okay. We have people that can take pictures. All right, Matthew, it's like Youth Appreciation Night. We've got some really fantastic young people in our city, and it's great to recognize them. Whereas Matthew Monroe is a 15-year-old resident of Ormond Beach and student at Spruce Creek High School. He is articulate, smart, and is driven by a desire to help people. Since his 6th birthday, Matthew has wished for shoes each year, but not for himself. Matthew collects the shoes in order for them to be distributed to people in need around the world. And whereas in Atlanta, as a small child, Matthew was inspired by a friend who collected toys for the Ronald McDonald House on his birthday. At just 5 years old, Matthew began marking his birthday each year with a charitable initiative. For his 5th birthday party, his party guests were asked to bring dog or cat food that would be donated to local pet owners. Later that year, his Atlanta Sunday school class had a shoe drive, which gave him the idea to start collecting shoes. And now he has been collecting new and gently worn shoes for Souls each year since his 6th birthday. And whereas Matthew is holding his 10th anniversary shoe drive this year, over the years, he has collected thousands of shoes. Matthew's largest ever collection was 1,120 pairs of shoes in 2013 for his 9th birthday. He's hoping to top that number this year by meeting his goal of 1,200 donated shoes. Matthew receives community support for the drive each year. He's had boxes of shoes donated by local businesses and received a large collection from the Seabreeze High School Color Guard this year. And whereas Matthew's giving nature has encouraged and expanded his drive beyond his birthday parties, this year, donations can be given to the Monroe family or dropped at 9 designated locations in Volusia County. Driven by a desire to pay it forward, Matthew hopes to balance out some of the negativity in the world by making a difference for those less fortunate. Matthew's philanthropic spirit and positive attitude are an inspiration. Now, therefore, I, Bill Partington, on behalf of the entire Commission of the City of Ormond Beach, Florida, do hereby proclaim December 4th, 2019 as a day to recognize Matthew Monroe in the city of Ormond Beach, and urge all residents to join with me on this day as we recognize Matthew's decade of shoe donations and celebrate his passion for helping those in need. Matthew, congratulations. And I'm going to let Commissioner Persis knows Matthew well through the years, so I'm going to let her speak as well.
Thank you, Mayor Partington, and good evening, everyone. I'm so proud to stand here with Matthew, he's 15 now, and I met him when he was 6. He came to 1st grade in Pine Trail Elementary when I was the principal there, and Cynthia, his mom, we sat in the office. She was all nervous about him coming to a new school, And I remember it all because we sat and talked, and the next day it was just, Matthew loved school. He loved Ormond Beach, and I told you, Ormond Beach is the best place to live. All the schools in Ormond are awesome, and he just thrived, as you can see, at Pine Trail and now onto Ormond Middle and Spruce Creek High School. And Matthew, the proclamation was actually exactly right, because all through elementary school he was known just to help others and do nice things for other people. He's a smart young man. He's talented. He's a thespian. He is musically inclined, acting. He just can do everything. So as a former principal, and I just this is near and dear to my heart, and we are all so proud of Matthew and his mom. His mom's been right there by his side all the time, and I know you've had a lot to do with the person he's grown into. So I just want to congratulate you personally, and I want you to keep doing what you're doing. You're going to make us all proud. Thank you.
Well, we're not quite done. We're going to take some pictures, but we have a gift, I guess you'd say, or a donation in line with exactly what you're doing. Is it 25 pairs of shoes donated by city staff and the commission? We wanted you to have these, and we think it's great what you're doing. It's an amazing example, and this is the perfect time of year to recognize it, so thank you very much. We're going to try to, awesome, even 200 pairs so far, so 1,000 pair to go. You'll be there. This community can do it. I believe this community can do it. Let's hold these up just right here, and we'll take pictures. All right. At this time, I would ask our police chief, Jesse Godfrey, to come forward and introduce his new officers, our new officers.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. Thank you for having us. I'd like to introduce Officer Rick Taylor. This officer right here was born in Long Beach, California. He grew up all over the United States due to his father being in the Marine Corps and moved around, in his words, a lot. He graduated from Richfield High School. He has taken technical courses in HVAC and attended Wyotech, where he earned certificates with Harley-Davidson and foreign motorcycles. He graduated from basic law enforcement class number 55 at Daytona State College, where he also started working on his AA degree. He enjoys carpentry, scuba diving, riding motorcycles, and working on vehicles. He was previously employed at the Valparaiso Police Department for a little over 2 years. Officer Taylor lives in our city. Our next officer up is Officer Kevin Myers. Officer Myers was born and raised in Sanford, Florida. He graduated from adult education in Anderson, South Carolina. He also graduated from Basic Law Enforcement Class 79 in 2018. His hobbies include mountain biking and spending time with his wife Brandy and son Logan, who I believe are in the audience tonight. He has a background in construction, and he used to work for Fastenal in our city, and he also lives in our city. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Officer Kevin Myers and Officer Rick Taylor.
Excellent. And next, we will ask Fire Chief Sievers to introduce the new Deputy Chief.
Thank you, Mayor, so much. Let's take a few minutes. I want to just introduce to the Commission our new Deputy Fire Chief, part of our fire administration. Really proud of Tom Bazanos. Tell me a little bit about Tom. He's been in the fire service for 35 years. He started his career in the city of Port Orange. He did 20 years there, working throughout the ranks up to Division Chief of Training. So he comes with a lot of experience, but he's been here in Ormond Beach for the last 15 years. Tom recently was a battalion commander on B shift when I started a year ago, too. And I want to say, too, he was actually the first battalion chief that I met. My first day took me all around the city. He couldn't be more helpful, so I'm really proud of him. His education includes an associate's degree in fire science from Daytona Community College, a Bachelor of Science degree in organizational management from Warner Southern College, and a Master's of Science in Public Administration from the University of Central Florida. So he's really going to be an asset to our department. It's really going to be a help to me. I really want to thank also the Commission for approving this position. Truly needed, and I think it is truly deserving personnel in Tom. Also, on a personal note, he's a wonderful golfer, but I think he's a better cook, honestly. And I can justify that. I also want to recognize his wife, Kelly. He's here. He's probably one of his biggest supporters. I want to thank Kelly for coming. And again, congratulations on your promotion, and welcome to Fire Administration.
Awesome. You want us to stand up? Sure. Let's gather in, yeah.
Okay.
We will move to agenda item number 5, audience remarks. I have 2 cards, and tonight we start with Linda Williams.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I just wanted to make an announcement about our next civil discourse and how this evolved. Last time we had, the subject was sea level rise, and we had 2 very distinguished guests there, Elizabeth Kempf, PhD journalist, anthropologist who spent several decades with international environmental organizations based in Switzerland, and Jason Evans, PhD associate professor of environmental science and studies at Stetson University and faculty director of the Institute for Water and Environmental Resilience. And it was a very compelling program since we are right here at sea level. And there was a lot of discussion and questions about what do we need to do, what actions can we take, and really appreciate Mr. Menendez was there, and he spoke with Jason, and so we decided at our next civil discourse to have anybody present or anybody that wants to come to have a couple of minutes to say what their organization is doing, and what action steps they can recommend. And there was an individual there who will come who's talking about just what she does on a personal level, because the CO2, of course, has a lot to do with all of this. So I would like to invite each of you to come, and of course, please keep sending your city representative. We've had Ms. Shanahan there, and Sean Finley, Stephen Spraker, and we really appreciate the city coming, attending, and hearing the information. So it's Monday, 5:30 to 6:45, and folks will get up, give 2 minutes about what they're doing, what action steps we can take, and then at the very end, be able to walk around and meet people and become a part of their organization, and anything the city wants to contribute, of course, about how you might be looking at this. And there's plenty of action steps citizens can take, in regards to this. So we appreciate your coming and being a part of this. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. And it's Monday the 9th?
Monday the 9th at the library, 5:30 to 6:45.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you. And next is Jim Schultz.
Jim Schultz, 117 Harvard. Civil discourse, not a novel idea, but a great idea. And hopefully that goes on in most city commissions. I've got my shark shirt on because last time I was down at the ocean, I saw the lone fisherman in the cold pulling in a 3-foot shark. And, there's always something going on there. I'm trying to get to the beach a couple times a day. Today it was only once. It was a little bit cold and the sand was soft. I sent the commission and the manager an email today. It's sort of an interesting one. They're having in Calgary the discussion that they're having in Melbourne as far as the fluoridation issue. The O'Brien Institute is a local group of professionals, actually, a doctor and a person who's specialized in neurotoxicity, that were giving a review from the local college of fluoridation. In the past, they had wholeheartedly endorsed it. This time they deferred on that because of their concerns about the latest neurotoxic effects and the 5 latest studies, most of which were done in Canada, actually, and attention deficit hyperactivity data showed a lot of concern too. It wasn't just the IQ reduction, and it wasn't just in pregnant women and the response to the fetuses. There was also a study in children that were receiving fluoridated water for their infant formula. So it was that whole mix. And seeing as there's 63 studies, the call for one more study before we start believing it didn't seem appropriate. And also there was a warning that actually before lead was really seen or perceived as the evil thing that it was in the 80s, there was a vicious fight to defend lead. Let's face it, lead was sort of like fluoridated water because it was put in all the gasoline. And so thus it was dispersed widely and everywhere because where didn't cars go? And so it was one of those, there's no questions now that lead is an evil thing and, it lowered IQ and all that and violent issues. And strangely to mention, the fluoridating compound is what releases lead in the water.
Thank you, Jim. We will move on to the approval of the minutes for November 19th, 2019, the regular City Commission meeting. They've been sent to the Commission for review, posted on the city's website. Any additions, deletions, or corrections? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Pose like sign, and we'll show those passing unanimously. And next is the consent agenda. Any comments or anyone wish to pull an item off of the consent agenda?
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Colby, please call the vote.
Commissioner Selby,
Yes.
Commissioner Kent,
Yes.
Commissioner Persis,
Yes.
Commissioner Littleton,
Yes.
Mayor Partington.
Yes, thank you. And now would be the appropriate time if any member of the commission wanted to comment on any particular consent agenda item. Commissioner Selby.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Tonight we approved a couple of things that I think are really great on the consent agenda. Number one is the tag readers, license plate readers. They'll be installed in 4 locations around the city, and they will be able to pick up every single license tag that passes through that intersection, and then they will be tied into the real-time crime center in Daytona Beach, and all of the cost to buy and install those cameras is from confiscated funds, from drug money. So that'll be a huge benefit, and we'll join 5 or 6 other cities on the east side of Volusia County that already have these readers and are used daily to catch bad guys. Second one is 6 new police cars. We're buying the cars and the cruisers, and that's great. Originally, we were going to buy 4, and the commission at our capital improvement workshop increased that by 50%, so we're going to buy 6 new cruisers. And then the fire department, we are buying $32,000 worth of extrication equipment so that we have the finest, newest equipment, so that in the event that, the jaws of life kind of thing, if you're trapped in a vehicle or some other thing, that the fire crew can get you out, and whether it's cutting or prying or bending or spreading or whatever, that equipment does that. So I'm just pleased to be a part of making sure that we are safe, and that we have great police department, great policemen, and we have fantastic firemen and fire department. And it's important that they have the best equipment, because that's what Ormond Beach residents deserve. And I view that as probably one of our 2 single most important priorities, is to keep the residents of Ormond Beach safe. So, with that.
Absolutely. Deputy Mayor Kent.
Yes, just briefly, item K. I want to thank Commissioner Boehm. You've always led with your heart. And on item K, we are applying to the Daytona Beach Racing and Recreational Group for $300,000 for our South Ormond Neighborhood Center just down the road here on Division Avenue, to help enclose the outdoor basketball court. And I'm very pleased that this went through, and looking forward to hopefully some great news from the racing and recreation people.
Great. Anyone else? Very good. Yep, well covered. We'll move on to public hearings, and I will open the public hearings and ask the city clerk to read the ordinance by title only.
Ordinance number 2019-41, an ordinance adopting and enacting a new land development code for the city of Ormond Beach, providing for the repeal of certain ordinances not included therein, providing a penalty for violations thereof, providing the manner for amending said code, and providing an effective date. This is the second reading of ordinance number 2019-41, read by title only.
Thank you, Colby. I don't have any cards.
Move for approval.
Second.
Any discussion? This is a second reading, and Colby, please call the vote.
Commissioner Kent.
Yes.
Commissioner Persis.
Yes.
Commissioner Littleton.
Yes.
Commissioner Selby.
Yes.
Mayor Partington.
Yes, and we'll move to 8B.
Ordinance number 2019-43, an ordinance amending the future land use element of the comprehensive plan by amending the future land use map to incorporate the provisions of the first amended North U.S. Highway 1 Interlocal Service Boundary Agreement, ISBA, between the City of Ormond Beach and the County of Volusia, providing for the transmittal of copies of the notice and amendment to the state reviewing agencies, the County of Volusia, and any other local government or governmental agency requesting a copy, providing for public hearings, providing for conflicting ordinances, and setting forth an effective date. This is the first reading of ordinance number 2019-43, read by title only.
Great. I don't have any cards, but before we start, I'll ask our planning director, Stephen Spraker, to give us some input.
Good evening, Stephen Spraker, Planning Director. At the August 19th City Commission meeting, there was the first amended interlocal service boundary agreement. So that basically established the need to do future land use map amendments in the area shown on the screen. The largest property is Plantation Oaks Boulevard. So the goal of this amendment would be to assign a city land use from the county land use. In the assessment, they've made the most similar land use determination possible. The planning board reviewed the item. The planning board reviewed the item and recommended approval 7-0. Staff is also recommending approval, and as stated in the ordinance, we will transmit it to the state agencies and to Volusia County.
Thank you, Stephen. Any questions for Stephen? All right, appreciate it. I don't have any cards.
I move approval of ordinance number 2019-43.
Second.
Any discussion? Colby, please call the vote.
Commissioner Persis,
Yes.
Commissioner Littleton,
Yes.
Commissioner Selby,
Yes.
Commissioner Kent,
Yes.
Mayor Partington.
Yes. 8C.
Ordinance number 2019-44, an ordinance amending the future land use element, the intergovernmental coordination, and the transportation element of the comprehensive plan by incorporating the provisions of the first amended North U.S. Highway 1 Interlocal Service Boundary Agreement, ISBA, between the City of Ormond Beach and the County of Volusia, providing for transmitting copies of the notice and amendment to the state reviewing agencies, the County of Volusia, and any other local government or governmental agency requesting a copy, providing for public hearings, providing for conflicting ordinances, and setting forth an effective date. This is the first reading of ordinance number 2019-44, read by title only.
Thank you, Colby. Stephen, anything else to add? Good deal. I appreciate you providing the background for both. I don't have any cards.
I'd like to move ordinance 2019-44.
Second.
Any discussion? Please call the vote.
Commissioner Littleton,
Yes.
Commissioner Selby,
Yes.
Commissioner Kent,
Yes.
Commissioner Persis,
Yes.
Mayor Partington.
Yes, and we will close the public hearings and move to 9A.
Ordinance number 2019-42, an ordinance amending section 22-115, fee imposed, schedule of Chapter 22, Water and Sewers of the City of Ormond Beach Code of Ordinances by increasing the water and sewer service impact fees, repealing all inconsistent ordinances or parts thereof, and setting forth an effective date. This is the second reading of ordinance number 2019-42, read by title only.
Thank you, Colby. I don't have any cards on 9A.
I move approval of ordinance number 2019-42.
Second.
Any discussion?
Mayor, if I could, I
Commissioner
just,
Selby.
I think it's fantastic that we do this, that we and what we're doing for those of you in the audience is we have a policy where we update our impact fees for water and sewer annually based on the national increase in construction costs done by a national construction publication. But my question is, and I'm not sure if this is for the city manager or the city engineer or whomever, but when was the last time that we evaluated whether or not our impact fees are appropriate for, we started a few years ago whenever this was enacted, and we increase each year based on construction costs, but maybe there are other factors that may have changed that would cause the impact fees to, potentially need to be different.
We've been doing this for about 10 years now, I believe. Since I've been here, we haven't undertaken a separate evaluation of that. But I think we can certainly review that during the budget process because that's a pretty expensive study.
Okay.
We can't do that by ourselves.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Sure thing. Anyone else? I agree. I think it's a smart thing to do. I know other governments have been criticized for not doing it, and it just keeps us current and relevant, and hopefully when staff does the review, they take those things into consideration. Commissioner Selby, that's a great point, that it's not just the actual fee itself, but all those other factors that could apply.
Well, there's a lot of discussion out there about does growth pay for itself, and this is clearly one of the ways to make sure that new growth is indeed paying for itself. So, I just put that out there.
Good deal. Nothing else on this item. I'll ask the clerk to call the vote.
Commissioner Selby,
Yes.
Commissioner Kent,
Yes.
Commissioner Persis,
Yes.
Commissioner Littleton,
Yes.
Mayor Partington.
Yes, and we will start reports, suggestions, and requests with our city manager, Joyce Shanahan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a reminder that this is your last meeting for the fiscal year. Your next meeting will be January 7th in 2020. We will be having a workshop before that meeting on 56 North Beach Street, a use analysis, and we'll review that with you. Just want to remind you of some current events. The Ho Ho Home for the Holidays Parade is Saturday, December 14th at 6:30 p.m. This year, the police department is closing off Granada from US 1 to Beach Street so that there will be no traffic interrupting with the parade. They think it's a safer travel pattern, and Julia Trujillo is working and has notified Main Street of that so that our businesses aren't caught off guard about that. We'll post on social media a map and the routes around that area so everybody will be informed about that. On Friday, December 13th, we have movies on the Halifax, and it's The Grinch. That should be a good one. And other than that, I just want to thank you for your service to our community this past year, and it's a pleasure working with you, and we wish you all the Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Thank you, Joyce. Assistant City Manager Claire Whitley.
Just have a wonderful holiday. Thank you.
Thank you, Claire. And City Attorney Randy Hayes.
Thank you, Mayor. Nothing this evening. Happy holidays.
Thank you, Randy. Tonight we start with Commissioner Persis.
Well, good evening, everyone. I just wanted to share with this group that the mayor and I and Deputy Mayor Kent all went to San Antonio the few days before Thanksgiving to the National League of Cities conference, and it was a fabulous conference. I know we all attended, numerous sessions, but my favorite one I wanted to mention was the climate change impacts in your community. And there was people from all over the United States, from all different states, and to hear what their climate change impacts are in their areas was enlightening, because each community, each area, each state is a little bit different. So it was very eye-opening. I really enjoyed that. I was able to hear former Mayor Henry Cisneros speak. He was the former mayor of Texas, I think of San Antonio for quite a while, and he was really spoke a lot about the climate change and things that we all needed to be doing. So I really appreciate the commission and the staff letting me attend this conference. I learned a lot. I know there's a lot of great activities coming up with the holidays. The Casements is putting on, just a myriad of events for every age group imaginable. So I hope all of you can get out there and take advantage of some of these things that the city is putting on. I know it's a lot of work for leisure services, but it's just going to be incredible. I can't wait for the parade on the 14th. That's going to be fun, too. It's always the highlight for me. So I hope all of you have a safe holiday, and we will see you in January. Thank you. Good night.
Great. Thank you. And Commissioner Littleton.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to inform the Commission tomorrow morning I'm off to Scottsdale, Arizona for the American City County Exchange Conference. I do appreciate the ability to go to this, and hopefully I'll learn a lot. And with that, I'll say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Selby.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I wanted to thank Commissioner Littleton for substituting for me at the Transportation Planning Organization board meeting on the day before Thanksgiving. I was out of town. Next, I just wanted to say that I participated in the Gaslight Parade on the day after Thanksgiving, last Friday, and I've done that a couple of times, but I just marveled at what a great job our police department and our leisure services folks do, and our public works folks in blocking traffic and just making that parade run so smoothly. And it was very well attended. There were a lot of people on the parade route. So if you've never done that, it's really pretty cool. Secondly, I just wanted to say remind everybody that the grand opening of the First Step Homeless Shelter is a week from tomorrow, Wednesday, December 11th at 10 a.m. The public is invited. You'll be able to tour the building, which is the building is gorgeous. I mean, the city of Daytona Beach has built an amazing building. They spent a lot of money on it, so it should be nice. But but it's a beautiful facility, and it will be receiving its first guests on Monday, December 16th. So you're going to be seeing it just a few days before it actually opens to receive people. It's a shame it wasn't open earlier, and with all this cold weather that we have right now, that we're not able to utilize the facility yet. And then finally, I'm just looking forward to the Ho-Ho Holiday Parade. It's always a lot of fun, and talk about great attendance. That parade attracts a huge crowd. So if you're in the area, be sure to check it out. And with that, I'll say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Thank you, Commissioner Selby. Deputy Mayor Kent.
Thank you very much. Just a few items this evening. The first one, and Ms. Shanahan, I'll get with you one-on-one. I'll talk to you about it. But this Beach Street closure, Beach Street's been the road closure that we have on Beach Street here heading north. It's like the third one in 3 months. And I'm just a little baffled about the timing. Like, they're stopping work at 5 p.m., which that helps some of the rush. But there's a middle school up there, and the middle school gets out at 4:15, and it just creates a more compounded problem and issue. And I need to get with you because I have residents questioning me about, why is this road closed so often recently, and hopefully we can get it resolved. The next thing I wanted to chat about is Ormond Beach is a great partner with many other groups and organizations, and one of those other government entities is the Volusia County School Board. And Ormond Beach has partnered with the school board to have one of our school resource officers, Gregory Stokes, at Ormond Beach Middle School. Captain Smith is here, and I'm glad you are. I know the chief probably had to step out, but I'm glad you're here to hear this, because Officer Gregory Stokes was nominated as a Life Changer of the Year nominee. And there are a few comments online that I want to share about Officer Stokes at this time. This person writes that he's a personable young man. I'm giggling because they say young. They don't realize Officer Stokes is almost 75. I'm kidding, but he looks way younger than he is. I mean, way younger. But the person writes, he is a personable young man of character and exemplary police officer. Another person writes, how lucky that this community is to have an Officer Stokes involved in it. Another one writes, here you go again, Officer Gregory Stokes is a fine young man. He has a caring heart for others and is a true professional in whatever task they have him handle. Job well done. This one wrote, Officer Stokes is a great community role model. Till this day, I can still remember my DARE class. Now I'm 18 and a senior at Halifax Academy. I remember getting the donut when he came for graduation. And I share that because before Officer Stokes was a school resource officer, he worked on our outreach program, and people that are out of high school and beyond are still thinking about this man. This person writes, congratulations, home team. Continue the good work. This person writes, the best person for this position. The kids love and respect him. And I was going to end my comments on Officer Gregory Stokes with that one, because if you saw him in his element working, you'd know that one rings true, and it's fantastic. Commissioner Persis, I thought I really appreciated you sharing about the National League of Cities Conference in San Antonio. It was my first time to San Antonio. What a great city, a great host city. I thought they did a wonderful job. And Commission, I wanted to talk to you about one breakout session, and I too went to many, and I took notes on all of them. But one of them was titled Understanding Fair and Effective Vacation Rentals. And this one, was tickling my buying bone because this has come up in our community, and some of us have had it come up with our neighbors behind us, across the street, next to us. And what I want to share with the Commission is when they finally opened it up for comments from the elected officials there, that place lit up. And it was a common theme. It didn't matter if it was an elected official speaking from Colorado or if there was someone from Mississippi. But the few that, and I spoke, but the few that were able to speak all said the exact same thing. It is a major problem in our neighborhoods. Our residents didn't sign up for this. You know, you're talking about the fair and effective vacation rentals, but we're talking about what's fair and effective for the people that have to live next to the party house where there's 40 cars piling in and people are partying until the wee hours of the evening. So it was a great conference. It's always, you know, misery loves company, so it was great that when I started hearing the comments, I mean, when I say it was 100% of the electeds that spoke there were all on the same page. Like, wait a minute, you sat up there for an hour and talked, but you didn't mention this at all. Not one time did that come out of your lips. So I thought it was interesting. Our last meeting of the year in just a few days, we will have December 7th, and I just say to those listening online and those in the audience, remember Pearl Harbor. My granddad, John Troy Counts, was at Pearl Harbor December 7th, 1941, that day that will live in infamy when the Japanese unceremoniously attacked the United States. And I just say remember Pearl Harbor on December 7th. And with that, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, and Happy New Year.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. And I want to congratulate the young men who are here tonight who made it through an entire commission meeting. I think that's fantastic. You guys working on a badge? Yep. I'd like to do a picture. I don't know if you're interested in it, your leaders are interested in it, but if you guys would come up front here, you'll have the commission standing behind you. You'll have your police chief and captain on one side, your fire chief and deputy chief on the other side, and our city manager doesn't like to be in the limelight, but we'll get her in there as well. You guys face that way.
Line right up here.
Perfect. Chief, you are here. He was sneaking back in. Smiles, all smiles. Okay. That's it. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you being here. You set a good example, Mr. Searle. Thank you for being here. I've got a little badge for each of you. I'll give it to your troop leader. He can hand them out to you. But, you know, probably a tiny percentage of our city's youth actually come and sit through an entire commission meeting. So for you guys to be here tonight, some of the stuff on the agenda was a little hard probably to understand, but a lot of it was planning, zoning work for the US 1 and 95 area, which is out by the airport. It's the future growth area of Ormond Beach. Mr. Searle, your dad works out in the airport business park, and so that's stuff that could affect him. It's real complicated, a lot of legalese, and kind of a government bureaucratic process that has to be done. But the fact that you're here, that you're listening, paying attention, and involved, you're part of a tiny population of our city's youth that actually does that. So I'm glad to take the time to recognize you for that and congratulate you on furthering your education in that way and achieving the badge, whatever, I don't know what the badge would be called, but whatever it is. Okay. And we do have at least one Eagle Scout up here on the commission. I'll point that out to you. Commissioner Selby, we're proud to recognize as our Eagle Scout representative, and I know probably some of you are working on that or thinking about working on that, and feel free to talk to him for more details on how that works. But with that, you guys and gals have covered everything. I will just say happy holidays, and we'll see you in January. Good night.